and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. I am present. Bishop O'Neill. Present. Mr. Heater is not. Mrs. Bales.
Present.
Mrs. Barnes-Griffin.
Present.
Mr. Mervin.
Present.
Mr. Lowe.
Present.
And Mr. Heater was going to do it virtually. Is he
He said if he
present?
could, but I didn't.
I know Tony, I think he's on.
Is he there?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
I thought that was a less than committed response.
Okay, I just didn't want to think we
I thought
dropped the
that was one of
ball.
those I used to give like in college, like I might come to your party. That's what it felt like to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Anybody else have a feeling? I thought so. We're going on to recognition of our district elementary special mentor teachers.
We
Dr.
have-
Kay?
Yes. Well, at the last board meeting, I know that many of you made the request that you would like to learn more about our master and mentor teachers. And so each time when we have a school present, we'll make sure our masters and mentors tell you about what they're doing specifically in the school. But we also wanted to recognize that we have 3 master or mentor teachers for our specials programs. So tonight I have Sarah and Ron and Michelle who will get up and they're going to share a little bit of information with us. So if you want to come up to the podium.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. We are the special mentor teachers for Muncie Schools. I am Sarah Moser, and I teach art at Northview Elementary, and am the art mentor teacher for all elementary art teachers. This is Ronnie Howe. He is the physical education teacher at East Washington Academy and is the physical education mentor teacher for all elementary PE teachers. And this is Michelle Bade. She is the music teacher at Westview Elementary and is the music mentor for all elementary music teachers. I want to thank you for allowing us time to present to you our very unique and special positions as mentors. In the past, I've always winced when I was referred to as a special teacher. I didn't want anyone to think that what I do as an art teacher is any different from what classroom teachers do. I didn't want anyone to think my job as less than. However, as time has passed, I have realized that what I do as an art teacher and what music and physical education teachers do is very special. We teach every student at our schools every week. We teach them about life skills and about using their imagination.
Support has encouraged us to keep moving in a positive direction, and we look forward to the future. On behalf of Mrs. Mosier, Mrs. Beatty, and myself, thank you for this opportunity to share our adventure with you.
So you've told us what you're doing. What do you need? Anything specific? I'm sure, any of you? We're working on that.
We just thank you so much for just placing the arts as very important.
So let me leave you with this deal then. This board, I think, feels strongly that art, music, phys ed, specials are critically important to the whole child. And so if there are things that you run into during the course of the year or summer that you need, which you think would help you to do a better job educating and building character within our students, please let us know, Dr. Kay, Dr. Reynolds, and let's see if we can't do something with that. From my experience, I tend to think there are oftentimes students are able to shine or maybe find their sea legs in art or music or phys ed that may be having some difficulty in some of the other courses. So I mean, it's critical, and, you know, I don't know where I'd be without, you know, the specials that I've had in my life, and they are special. Coach Hal, keep Jim Harding with us for a couple more years, because his wife, because I can't lose Peggy just yet. So just give me 2 more years. Anybody else have anything?
Well, to follow up with your question, so how do they get their resources financially for what they need? How is that provided?
So Brad gives every school principal an allocation to be able to use for different areas, some of the different special areas. And then last year, I know that Ron brought a golf program he helped with the golf program. So that was really more than resources that each of the schools had. So then that was something that Brad was able to use a lot additional resources for that. I know that Chuck wrote in the Ball Brother Foundation grant, he set aside one thing that Judd Fisher is very interested in is supporting the arts and PE. And so we were able to put some funds in that to be able to help our special area programs. And so those are some of the ways we're able to provide additional funding. I would also like to say, I have to give the provost a lot of credit for helping us with establishing mentors for our special areas. Last year in the fall, we visited every school. And when we were at Northview and she looked around and with all the wonderful artwork, she said, how can we take this and replicate it and have all of our other schools look like this? So now we've given Sarah that challenge. And so we, just finding some of the very best. I mean, we have 3 of the very best up here to be able to help us. In our other special area teachers, they're all great, but they really rise to the very top. So we're very fortunate to have them providing assistance to our other teachers. So thank you for that.
Agreed. Sarah, I was looking here online because I wrote down 110 years of combined experience. Is that right?
Yes.
So that I wrote above that old masters.
Yeah.
I mean that not offensively, but so then I was looking what art was famous between 1910 and 1920. It was box impressionism.
Okay.
With Picasso, of course,
Right.
and a lot of other names that I can't pronounce. So if you put that in perspective for your students,
That's right. That's
wow,
true.
110 years.
So I know.
And
I'm one of the younger. I've been this 2 years, and then I have 11 years experience. So all the other teachers I'm mentoring have much more experience than me, like 16, 25, 30s. So I'm like, you guys have to tell me what works because you've been doing this for so much longer than me.
Now,
They're really patient with me.
Coach Howell, on his own, has a fair number. Okay, 40 years. And Michelle, how long have you been at it?
25.
Wow. Thank you all 3. You are part of the jewels in the crown. So.
Sure.
Have an inside look into your classroom. Do you care to share the project that you guys are working on with the hands right now? Because I think it's really cool.
Okay, so I had every student in the school. The older kids, they all had to trace their hands, and the younger ones, I had a hand already traced for them, a handprint. And inside of it, they had to do their character. It had to be when you looked at the hand, we should instantly understand who you are as a person. We talked about Black Lives Matters. We talked about Martin Luther King and his quote that everyone should be not based on their skin color, but their character. And then I told students, when I look at this hand, I shouldn't see the color of you, I should see who you are as a person. And so every student made it, and then I have a bulletin board outside my room where everyone's hands is up, and then I posted it on Twitter, so it's on there. So, yeah, trying to bring in a lot more information on artists that are of different races that are American this year, and not just the old masters, as you were saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like we're going to study, 5th grade is studying Sunday Wiley, who's the one who did Obama's portrait with all the leaves and stuff. So we're studying him. So artists that really relate to the students but are still alive and are making art that is progressive that the kids would really enjoy.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything additional? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Dr. Kwiatkowski?
Oh, while we're doing some recognition, I need to just recognize a few people from our central office that they're working extremely hard, and I recognize principals and teachers and people around this table, and I need to make sure I also recognize them. So Emily Collins, we've given her the assignment of also having our McKinney-Vento grant, and that's an additional responsibility from all the special ed work she does. And she is just taking that and running with it. So I really wanted to recognize Emily for her hard work. Dia, we always, is Dia, she's always even comes to these, but Dia is someone that is always thinking about what we can do for our students and our schools and cares deeply about Muncie. And I appreciate Dia. Jenny with our special education, as well as working now, we added social emotional learning. So she's looking at ways of supporting counselors and student assistance coordinators. And so I appreciate all of Jenny's work. Of course, Tony, he gets tired of seeing emails from me and text messages, but he's always kind and responds and always is helping us try to meet our technology needs for students and parents and our schools. And then I've really come to appreciate Steve Spradlin this year also, because Steve is out there supporting teachers with Schoology and trying to help us be prepared for moving to a e-learning environment. And so those were just a few tonight. I can keep going on and on, but I've just appreciated some of the people that we couldn't do what we're doing without their time and their effort.
So thank you. Anything additional?
That's it for now.
Okay. How are we doing on the COVID this week?
Oh, today was a rough day. We had 3 positive cases at 3 schools. So that was hard. The good news is many of the students, they were all students, they all have not been in our schools for about a week, but we still have to go back to before they had symptoms and do some contact tracing. So we just wish we could say 0. But what I would also say is that our schools are doing a remarkable job. One school, we did not have to send anyone else home because of being able to be socially distanced. One of the other schools, it was only 10 students, and the other, it happened before they've been out for so long, it didn't affect any other students. And so our schools really are trying to do a good job with making sure they're following all of the requirements. So I appreciate that. But, every day, I'm sure the same with Jim at Ball State. Every day there's just something else we have to worry about with COVID-19. But we're thankful that for every day we are able to offer in-school instruction.
Well, from my observation, it seems like Muncie is we're holding our own in terms of the size of our school and the challenges. So, and I couldn't be prouder of the group and from top to bottom as we work through the contact tracing and it certainly seems like we've been able to narrow through our practices the level of exposure. So anybody else have any questions?
Thank you for all you're doing.
Michelle Stark.
One, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to come and to speak. Actually, I felt compelled because I am a football team mom. Used to be, I yes, quote unquote, a booster officer, but we just decided just to be team moms to everybody. I can say boys now because we no longer have a girl on the team, but the players, I had more than a handful come to me and express concerns. I'd say it's more than concerns, but I have always told them that you can't hold somebody accountable unless you say the words. So they have come to say the words to me, and I told them, I said, what would you like me to do? He goes, well, I want you to make administration care about us. So I said, I can go speak at a school board meeting. And they said, okay. So then they challenged me. So here I am. And I believe all of us here today are here to make a better situation for our students. And I know we're in unprecedented times, and all of the students see all the things that they cannot do and all the obstacles in their way. And also as team moms, we try to remove all the obstacles that we can in the coaches' ways and the players' ways. But there's also some of those that it's not possible for us to overcome, which is, and I have to thank Dr. K, because anytime that she sees me or anything, because she knows, just come say, what can I do? This is a possible solution that we can have. And she's always open arms to help us find a solution. So thank you very much for that. But that also being said, when I talk about administration, I talk about Muncie Central's administration, because I'm not going to talk, about other things. I'm talking about what our students, and when I say our students, I mean our football players, when they come to me, they're talking about Central's administration. I can't tell you how many times that they say that they just feel like Central's administration doesn't care about them. That being said, also the prime example is the team's practice field. I know it had been quote unquote resurfaced, but it looks like a soybean field, and it would actually hurt some of the players if they would try to play on that, even if they tried to mow it. So they take that as a hit to their pride, because they have to use their practice field. And myself and Danae Ball, on Friday before the game, some of the facilities, they did fill in a hole that had been there for a year and a half, but we walked the field 10 yards at a time, and we took 5 bags of dirt and filled it in ourselves. So to make sure that our players and also the opponent's players wouldn't get hurt. And I also kind of challenge you guys to we shouldn't have to do that. But we did it because we care about our students. And, again, we're in unprecedented times. I know resources are stretched thin, but I challenge you to help us with that. Also, not being able to have their first home game in their own stadium, that they were pretty upset about that, or at least a handful, or I should say more than a handful were, because negative always travels faster than positive, unfortunately. So, and one thing that really struck me, that not everything takes money. I mean, yes, everything does take somewhat bit of money, but a lot of it is just actions. And actions speak louder than words. And I got told, well, we're spending money. Well, yes, but how are you showing the students that you care about them? So I guess that's my role here today, is I promise that those students, players, coaches, that I would come here and voice that opinion, and I would be their voice, because of course they're at practice getting ready for Friday's game and Saturday's game. So, but I challenge also, I was talking with Dr. K before the meeting, and she was saying there's a lot of things in the works. I challenge the school administration as a whole to be more open with the students and let them know what is in the works, because without them knowing, they're thinking that everybody's just sitting on their hands. I mean, we as adults, we can say, hey, this is in the works, but unless someone higher up, it doesn't matter if it comes from us. If they hear some things being planned, that gives them something to be excited about. So I guess that, and again, I know we're in unprecedented times, but these are also times that we need to build our students up, not make them feel like we don't care.
Thank you. Danae Ball?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want everyone to think back a couple of years and remember what a mess Muncie Community Schools was in. We all know that a vast majority of our problems was due to playing the good old boys game. Heavy on administrators that were a friend of a friend and etc. It pains me to say that we are starting to see many glimpses of this again. Buddies that stay in jobs even if they don't do them or don't do them correctly. And the hiring of buddies, even though in other school systems they were at, they had to take workshops on how to treat their employees and their staff underneath them. Some of these people had to do this twice. So why would Muncie Community Schools want to hire people like this that do not know how to talk to or treat staff, teachers, coaches, students, or family members of students? Why is Muncie Community Schools pushing good employees out the door that have went above and beyond their job duties, bringing fresh ideas for programs and making them happen, making everyone, including students and family, wanting to get involved and excited? We need to take a good look at what is happening. We were on a good track to a better future, but sadly, the Good Old Boys Club seems to be making a comeback. We want fresh ideas and hands-on administrators with good attitudes to support everyone involved with Muncie Community Schools from the top all the way to the bottom. And we will continue to watch, make note, and hold someone accountable. Sadly, as I walked into this meeting at 4:30, I get a text message that we have a volleyball team that is heading to a game with wet jerseys and football uniforms that aren't being turned in, so therefore coaches have no idea where the uniforms are at. There's been no communication as of a good employee that went above and beyond that was pushed out a door, and it's almost as if athletics don't exist at Muncie Southside. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We have items A through G in the consent agenda. Do we have any questions concerning items A through G? I want to take a moment and recognize donations from Woodrow Elliott to Central High School of a television. And we had a number of donations totaling about $1,300 to the Southside Middle School Panther Pantry, which continues to be very popular. And we have a donation, small donation to Longfellow from the United Way. In terms of personnel, those are relatively minor, not minor in terms of importance, but we have a couple there. Any additional questions concerning any of those? Okay. With that, items A through G would entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Mr. Jerome.
Thank you. Presented in your board packet tonight is the budget adoption resolutions. There are 5 attached resolutions that would need to be adopted for the 2021 budget. I'll just give you a brief summary of each one of those particular resolutions, and then afterwards, if you'd like to take all those at one time, you certainly can. What we have tonight, the 5 particular resolutions to approve is number 1, the 2021 capital projects plan, the 2021 bus replacement plan, and those particular plans are embedded in the operation fund. Number 3 is the reduction authority, which allows me to work with the Department of Local Government Finance when they work our budget to make any corrections that need to be made as reductions, if any need to be made. The 4th one is the actual budget adoption. It's called State Form Number 4. And the 5th one is just the carryover encumbrances at calendar year end. It's always good to have those approved as part of the budget process. So what we have in front of you basically are those 5 particular resolutions, and we're asking the school board to approve those tonight.
Okay. Any questions for the CFO on any of these items? Okay. Why don't we do those independently, just for the record?
Okay.
Would entertain a motion to adopt the capital projects fund plan.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
The bus replacement plan. Latasha moved. I will second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Then the approval of the 2021 capital projects plan for the operation fund. Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Mr. Lowe and Mr. Irvin, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Budget Form 4, which is the resolution for appropriations and tax rates. I would move approval. Here a second.
Second.
Mr. O'Neill has a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And then the approval of carryovers at the end of the calendar year. Would entertain a motion. Been moved by Brittany, second by Watasha. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And please don't forget the reduction authority. I think you called it capital projects plan twice.
Did I?
Page number 3, the reduction authority resolution.
Yes. I thought we had approved that, but I did not read the reduction authority part of it. Would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so then we have certain signature lines on each of these. I will start moving them around. Make sure you go through them. There's one that at this hour of the day was a little tricky for me, in that you have to check your vote as well, and that's the budget form 4. So. We have a dialogue of the board and future recommendations. Open it up for any dialogue that anybody wishes to share.
Just a small question. So addressing the field condition issues, is that SCC that takes care of that in their contract, or somebody internally to our corporation?
Brad would know.
Those would be a combination item. There's certain responsibilities SSC does have, and there's certain other responsibilities that they don't. So we'll certainly clarify that and look into that for you, Jim.
Good, thank you.
And if I may, what I mentioned earlier is I shared that the facilities committee, Brad is going to reconvene our facilities committee, and we will be looking at, some plans that we need to improve facilities. But I just don't want the students to think that can happen overnight, because just like if you're going to build a house, it takes a while to get there. So that's something that's on our agenda, but I don't want people to be disappointed.
But when they hear no communication, that's what is happening in the background, that's when they feel like there's, and that's, we kind of set that expectation. Look, it doesn't happen overnight. Just like how they don't understand that they can't get turfs right away.
Any additional
Yeah,
items?
I have some questions about the virtual learning program. Some of these were asked of me and just some things that I thought of, so I wanted to ask publicly in case parents have these same questions. So I don't know if Chuck will probably be the go-to for these. Are all the students who are registered now able to access it? I know we're about a month in.
Yes.
I know we had some.
Yeah,
hiccups.
all students are in. We're double checking. So if something has happened and they haven't been able to get in,
So everyone
they
should
are,
be
they are
Yay!
in. Mhm.
Awesome. So what about for students who maybe just got access last week or this week? Is there an expectation to make up things? What does that look like for them?
Right, that's a good question. So the work up to this point was really individually student-based. So they would go in and work on math, science, social studies, English skills, and then they just worked on those at their own speed where they were. So they would do so many, and if it got too hard, they would make mistakes, and they would kind of back off the degree of difficulty or the depth of the content of knowledge. So they would not have to go back and make any of that up.
Got it. And then are all of the teachers that we have, they're all licensed teachers that we already had in the corporation, right?
Yes, all of the teachers we assigned, Each teacher has a full 6-section course load. However, some of the teachers, we are leaning on K-12 for some of those teachers. Smaller classes that didn't have, enough for a full section, we still offered those, but we're partnering with K-12 to offer those, like AP
Latin.
psychology, AP US history.
Okay, and then last one. Are the lessons recorded in any way? If a student doesn't feel well enough to log on for a day, what does that look like as far as makeup for them?
Yep. So, yes, so all the sessions are recorded. We have asked all the teachers to record all the sessions for those reasons. So just like a regular, at the secondary level, especially like a regular schedule, some classes happen at the same time. So we've asked that they record those just in case there are issues or there's a conflict in the schedule. There's also, in the curriculum, there's also embedded videos that come with the content. So there's videos in there that they will always have access to, and then as the teachers are leading those lessons and teaching the class, that we've asked them to record those sessions too. Most of them have little Post-it notes up here, not to forget. That doesn't always happen, but they're really going after it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Thanks.
What are the numbers? Where are we at, virtual versus? Like 1,400-ish?
1445 in virtual. As of today, how many did you enroll today, though? I mean, we're still enrolling students, and so our numbers change every day, up or down a little bit.
What about technology? Like, are they those folks getting the help they need if they were to reach out? Are they seeming to get?
Yep. So we have some extra help that's dedicated just to the VLP program. One technology person that's helping and triaging folks as those phone calls come in.
Additional questions? Any media questions? Anybody from the media here this evening? They've sort of abandoned us.
Now that we do online, or the
guess
live
that's
stream, they
live.
can see it, yes.
From the perspective of athletics, consistent with what I said to Coach Howell, those are critically important to the future of the corporation. They do provide for a sense of pride and identity with Muncie Community Schools. And we have given specific direction to the Facilities Committee to keep athletic facilities as a priority as moving forward. In terms of communication, I would urge, again, if coaches, as they hear from their kiddos, from their students, from their players, are hearing things as well, that they certainly can feel free to communicate those to us. Communicating back to those players, one of the things that when I coached football, I would have my players read was a book called The Junction Boys. And it was written by a guy named Jim Dent about the 1954 team at Texas A&M when Bear Bryant first coached. And so whenever things are rough, I would say, go read The Junction Boys again. Now, Bear Bryant coached in a different time, in a different place, in many ways a sadly less fair, less equitable country. But he, by any measure, had great success with his teams, particularly as he became enmeshed at the University of Alabama. But that will show you that there is another approach to this sport that has evolved. So, and my players who read this always came back feeling pretty good about themselves. So, Junction Boys by Jim Dent. Anything further? Entertained a motion to adjourn. Moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all. Have a nice evening.